Hi everybody, Mr. Kevin here from HumboldtCraftworks. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and today's episode we're going to talk about how to make a mitered raised panel door. Yeah. You've ever wanted to know how to glue up a mitered door? You ever have to make a door for a Lazy Susan? Have you ever had to make a Lazy Susan door fit into a 9-inch space when it needs 12? You ever wondered what jigs to use? You ever wondered how to miter all the parts? You ever wonder how to glue it up? You ever wonder any of that? Today we're going to go over that on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. Yay! A mitered raised panel door for a Lazy Susan. All that and more coming up shortly. There we go. So my job today is to make a mitered raised panel door. So what I did is I machined all this earlier, the top and bottom rails and the stiles, and I made 2 of these panels, and I have another stile over there. And what I have to do now is to fit this in here, miter it, and glue it up. And that's what we're going to do today. I got itchies. The first thing I have to do, I'm going to have to make blocks that'll fit in here that are 1 inch thick. That will attach to the back of this eventually. So from here to here is 10.5, and from here to here is 9. And no matter if I went down to an 18-inch radius, it still wouldn't have fit. So what you have to do is you go off the 45 down here, this miter right here, and you have to go back farther and farther until you get the plane that you want, okay, for your door thickness. So I made a bunch of little poplar pieces, sanded them and rounded them over. They're 1 inch thick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these pieces here to the Lazy Susan, and I hold them on with spring clamps. And to get them centered, I used a piece of 3/4 inch scrap wood, me and my scrap wood, and I put them underneath here to hold everything up, because when you work by yourself, you kind of need, you got to have all sorts of little jigs and things to help you. That's why you have spring clamps and you have scrap wood to help hold things up. That way you're not trying to hold things up with one hand, screw with the other, blah, blah, blah. It just turns out to be a nightmare. So we're going to use this to replicate the face frame that's next door. Just to make sure that these do not hit. See? When we go to attach the door later on, it would help if these are as square as they can be. I can't really tell if you can see that or not. So the gap, you want the gap to be even. Okay. So we got our blocks in, and it'll spin around. Oh, it's still dirty in there, sugar. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my all of my stiles, and I'm going to get the size of the stiles right. So there's a 16th gap there and a 16th gap there, which is pretty easy to do. You just chop it until it fits. And I'm probably going to make a jig so it'll hold it there equally on both sides. I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but I'm going to figure it out. I think I'm just going to tack a little stick on here and add one of these Johnsons on there with some double stick tape. So I have 2 pieces of scrap that I got out of the scrap bin over there. Milled them to 3/4 inch. Made sure they're joined and are flat. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our little pin nailer. We're just going to pin them on just a little bit right there. And shoot down here. Now the thickness of this doesn't matter. It just matters that it's in there, just sitting there and flat. I'm going to take all the stiles first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the stiles in, okay, so they actually will sit on these little shims. They're 1/16 of an inch, and I'm going to make them just a little bit bigger than that, just because this, Lazy Susans, they wibble, and you can move them around pretty easy. Okay, so I found out a few things. That's why it's a good thing to stage things before you build them. These little paper shims are too skinny, because when you flip it around like most people do, it kind of gets stuck and hits things. So I took my 3/32 shims, which is a little bit bigger than a 1/16, and I put those in here, like this here. there. Okay, so I fit these parts. Let me turn this. So a fat 16th is enough on the top and bottom. So when you rotate it, so it's enough when you spin it around, make sure everything's out of the way, that it clears and doesn't hit. And that's very important with a Lazy Susan, because you don't want your door clipping on the other face frame and all that other happy baloney. The other thing I found out is that on the sides you even need it bigger because of the rotational turning situation. You see right here? So what I have to do is my 3/16, remember I said 3/16 I had to use those for special occasions? Well, I remember what it was, and it fits right in here. So all the other doors and drawers are going to be super tight, a little fatter than a 16th all around, and this one's going to be gappy as all get out because it has to be that way, so the thing can spin without hitting because of the radius. And yeah, that's the way it goes. It's just the way it's going to be. So the gaps on the side are 3/16, and the gaps on the top and bottom are 3/32. Right in there like that. So now that we have this like this, what I'm going to do now is I'm get my stirret. My big old stirret. Doesn't have to be this big. You can I'm just going to use this one. Just going to sit here and look at that like that. Okay, that is 7 7/16. And back here, it's exactly the same. So 7 7/16. I'm going to write that down. So what I'm going to do now is this side already has a mortise hole in it, ready for the tenon, which is sitting right there. It's just dry fitted. And so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to lay it out, miter it, chop it. Here, I'll do it right now. It won't take that long. So we'll just set this at 7 7/16. And the mat, so if you ever buy a stirret, don't get the shiny metal. Where are this? Here. Shiny metal. It's hard to read. These matte ones are the better. Easier to read. Two-tip Tuesday. So I just marked the end and then I mitered it, and I'm just going to cut the miter. Alright, so it's going to fit in there like that, and I'm going to do the exact same for this side over here. Exactly the same way. Alright, and then I'm just going to put it together in there and then do the same on the bottom. This is the frame all mitered up, and I made a little quick video on my GoPro of chopping the miters. If you want all your miters to be exactly the same, you do the same with on your chop saws. You do everything else. You put a little piece of wood on there and put a couple spring clamps down there to hold it on, and then you can chop the same miter cut over and over again, the exact same width, and that's what I did. So this works with for cutting miters too. Right. There's the piece for the door. There's the front. Or this is the other rail, the other side. You just have to flip it upside down. Cut the same miter. This with our wrong hand. There you go. Now I'm going to do the bottoms the same way. This is the right mitered side. The reason I'm holding it down is because I don't want it to pop back at me. Alright, so we just flip this over, face out, with the other cut. And there you go. All your miters are cut the exact same way using the same stop. Yeah, and that's for the door for the Lazy Susan. Alright. So the door fits. Now we got to miter the panel. The problem is getting it out. You kind of have to do it kind of weird. And I got the back taped. You know, you can see that. Hey, look, I've been framed. And I don't know how I'm going to glue this up yet. These joints here, I'm probably going to glue them and then probably put a little clamp on the top with this taped off. Because I don't think I can pull tape on this and hold it good enough to hold it like that. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take this door apart and see it's like a hinge. That tape works pretty damn good. And since I have to slide this in here, I'd like to have it like that. but I'd like it to not fall over, so I have to get my wood jaw clamp. Do the wood jaw clamp trick. It's on a 2-tip Tuesday somewhere. So this is going to be tight to fit. Okay. So if you can see, this is like an 1/8 inch. That's a little more. So I'm going to have to take an 1/8 inch off of both these pieces. And I'm going to mic that with my micrometer. Make sure for sure. And I'm going to do the same on the other ones. And we're going to rip them down so they're all the same size. And then what we're going to do, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'll just use the pen. I'm going to mark this like this. See that mark right there? I don't know if it'll show or not. That's how I'm going to cut on the table saw. They should all be exactly the same, so both panels should be exactly the same. I just got to make sure I get the grain direction going the right direction. Alright, so first things first. Now you can see it. Okay, right there. You see that mark? That's what I'm going to cut it on the table saw once I get it out of there. And once I get it out of here, which should be right now, oh, good golly, it's in there snugly. And then I'm just going to set this up on the table saw, make one pass at it, and probably do a little outside the line to make sure I get it, and then sneak up on it and get it right where I want it. And I actually might make this just a little short so I can push this over. We'll see how it goes, because this is going to be one long miter I got to glue up at one shot. And I don't know how I get stuck with all these weird things, but this happens to me all the time. That's a woodworker for you. So if you want to be a woodworker and do all these crazy things, I would suggest you like puzzles and weird things, because my life is just one weird thing, I guess. I'm always building weird stuff. But it's kind of fun. Yeah. I like it a lot. I'm going to go miter these on the table saw now, and then bring them back, and we'll try to stick them together and figure out how we're going to glue this Johnson up. It'll be fun. Yeah, it all lines up. Here we go. Magic button. Alright. Okay, there it is. Mitered. Ready to go. I'm going to go flip you guys back over there, and we'll try to dry fit this and see how that goes. Basically, that's how the door's going to look. Inside miter, such and such. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to push this up. I'm going to go to the back, because the back I always leave a little space back there. And that's for expansion, but it's also for doing this. You can reach back there and push things forward. Old man knows things. Okay, so there's that. Oh wait, let's see if I can hold it in there. I'm going to try to tape it across. Okay. That's what it's going to look like. Alright. So my procedure now is going to be glue the tenons in place. I'm going to leave the panels just where they're at, because I can figure that out. And then I'm going to glue this seam here, and I'm going to tape it. Wow. Tape the back across here, and hopefully I'll be able to maneuver this so it'll be pretty flush and awesome. This is kind of fun, something to do. Most people would panic when they have to do stuff like this. I get excited, like, yeah, cool, I get to figure this out. And it shouldn't be too hard, hopefully, knock on wood. I need to find some little pieces of plywood to stick in here so it'll hold it square. And I'm going to do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll just shrink wrap that in there. Yeah, that'll be cool. All right, let me go get some stuff, and I'll show you how it goes. I'm going to dry fit it and see if it'll work with tape, and then we'll go from there. So we got that just to hold it there. Still not sure how I'm going to go about doing this. I'm going to get some tape. Worst part's getting the stuff off your fingers. All right, here we go. And slice it down the middle, pull it apart, and then you get it all over yourself, stuck everywhere. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to attach it back here on this here Johnson. I'm just going to make sure the top is flush. I'm just going to pull this puppy around. Just like that, and I'll hold it in place. And I'm going to come over here and look at it. Alright, that still looks good. I'm going to come down on the bottom down here. I'm going to do the bottom. Pull a piece on the back. And I'm going to pull it. Oh, good lord. There. You got to kind of hold on to it when you're doing it. Pull it. Alright. Alright, I don't need these. These are kind of hindering me now. Now, what I'd like to do is tape that damn Johnson in there. I think. I don't know, I've never done that. Let me see something. We're using a squares to get rid of the little burrs. I don't know if this is possible or not. Tape that in square. So I'm gonna lay it down on one of its backs here. Okay, I just want to see if this is possible, because I know this is square. Don't move, just sit there and relax. I'm going to take some shrinky wrap. Let's see if I can wrap it around. I gotta get over the edge, I guess. Mr. Kevin's wacky everything. Weirdness show. But sometimes weird things work. And if you don't try, you'll never know. Okay, there we go. Putting a little snuggish on there. Okay. The puppy's in there. You guys see that in there? So this is holding the whole thing square. Wow. I got tape on the back. Only a couple pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. There's one up in here. I'm going to cut this right now to fit. All right, let me cut this. And that's going to go in there. So I'm going to do, when I go to glue this up, I'm going to make like 6 pieces of tape. I'm going to have my shrink wrap ready with these 2 blocks. These 2, and I'm going to stick them on the bottom to try to tighten these tenons up. And my seam still looks good. And I'm going to glue this Johnson up. Alright, first thing you got to do is put your smart hat on. Second thing you got to do is I got to cut one of these down because it's too damn big. Excuse me a minute. Right there. Look how nice that comes out. Yeah, so go get the old-fashioned tops like the mustard squeezers and just put that on top of your doohickey. Alright, so I got my clamps on here. I don't know if you can see them. I'm going to glue in the tenons. Alright, how much time I got? Alright, it says 1:48. So here we go. I'm going to put some glue in these guys right there. This is live, baby. This isn't like, oh, watch me do this and then I'll stop. We're doing this just the way we're doing it. And if I mess it up, then I mess it up. Whoa. Like that. Pay attention. All right. You got to really attach it to one side really good. All right. I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just feeling it. I'm going to slightly pull and just go like that. And that was just to hold it in place so I can get a good look at it. Okay, now we got to do some adjusting, and I think I'm going to attach another one to the bottom here so I can pull it kind of hard. Now what I got to do is I got a gap. I got to push the panel that way with this from behind. So this one's got to go this way too. I can do it from the front too. There it is. Okay. Okay, now this one. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to push the panel to the back here. All right. I got to get this clamped up. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put one more tape on the back. One more. We still got a few minutes. And then we should be able to lay it on its side, because I got to get this bottom clamped. Or just this one side really has to get clamped quickly. All right, now that we've done that, now we're gonna wrap it. Do it like this. And the first wrap is kind of loose just to get that piece in there to hold it. Right. And every single one after that is tighter and tighter. Whoa. Okay, and that should hold it. All right. So tomorrow I got to take these cabinets down. Most of them are already there in Trinidad, and I have to do a roughing install. Okay, one more thing while it's like this. I'm going to just try to pry this down, which will push the panel down. Alright, we got to clamp this, Johnson. That's all there's to it. These are my favorite clamps. Oh, they'll fit too. Alright, let's see what happens here. I'm going to let it have it. I should just go pop. Like that. Woo! Did you hear it? It popped. Oh boy. That's exciting. Whatever. This one's going to do the same thing, hopefully. Get it in there. Let it have it. You want to really make sure you're lined up and you're on there square. Did you hear it? Pop. It's in there. Alright. Alright. There it is again. And one more. Good golly. How exciting can it get? Under one clamp, around the other. Sugar. Alright, well, hopefully it doesn't tweak it out. And there it is. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. There's glue on the face, and there's nothing I can do about it right now. How do I show this to you? There it is. There's glue. I gotta get the glue off of it somehow. I think I got tons of glue. So this is all wire brushed out, so any glue you get on it, you gotta dig out the glue out of the grain that's all fizzle-fazzled in there with wire brush, and it goes different directions, and you can't just, you know, you can't just sand it. Once it's glued up, it's done. It's the way it is. It's the way it's gonna look. It's square. And there it is. A mitered door here. So you want to see the back? Just taped. Just taped it on there. I tape everything. Everybody says, oh, you're just full of baloney. Well, you just saw me tape the whole thing up. There it is. Tape, packing tape, or strapping tape, or whatever you want to call it. It is cinta de empaque. Cinta de empaque. Alrighty, and there's the back. The glue on the back I'll get off later. I'm not really worried about the glue. It's the glue on the front that I'm worried about because of the texture of the grain of the way it is. Now you got to see more craziness from Mr. Kevin. My entire life's like this. I'll build these this and build that. Can you make this curved thing? My next job after this one is 3 curved vanities with carved legs. Each one's got 6 drawers, so it's curved. Everything's curved. Raised paneled, curved, raised paneled vanities. So yeah, and they're 5 foot wide. Each one is 5 foot. There's 2 of those. I'm going to make some benches, a curved jewelry box, something or other that's 8 feet tall or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, so people find me somehow, and I'm glad they do because I like doing strange things, and I'm going to share my strange things with you. Everybody's got their own thing. I guess my thing is crazy, weird things that nobody ever thinks about and never does. And that's me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the notification bell, fling, fling, the bang, bang. And tell all your friends, share it with the world. And yeah, go outside and play, hug somebody you love. And I'll see you next time on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. Bye. I wanted to make a mitered door for a raised panel miter. Oh God! Talk about how about? We're gonna talk about talk about burping and yeah. Oh. Okay, bye. How's that? Did I did it? Look, I'm blinded.